Hey everyone, and thanks for jumping back into the Precious Metalverse. Today, we're going to talk about silver and its journey to hopefully all-time highs. If you guys like the content, make sure you subscribe to the channel, give the video a thumbs up, and also check out the sale on Into the Cryptoverse Premium at intothecryptoverse.com. We check in with the precious metals 2 to 3 times a year on the channel. We don't do it more frequently just because, well, frankly, it's more fun to watch paint dry. But with that said, we have seen the recent breakout by gold. We talked about that. We said that it would likely just consolidate until the 20-week SMA caught up and then break out again, just like it's been doing. And you can see that it's also lifting other commodities with it, right? Silver is going up. Platinum is going up. Uranium, palladium, right? Gold, though, leads the bull market. Just like with crypto, Bitcoin leads the bull market, but for precious metals, gold leads it. And you have gold breaking out to new all-time highs. But what's interesting is despite the fact that gold has, at this point, far surpassed where it was back in 2011, silver has not. Okay? And I think that it likely will. And one of the things I think we can find confluence here is I think the way this might play out, because we've also talked about a potential pullback for gold in 2026. You know how a lot of times we talk about when something sweeps a high from a long time ago? Not always, but a lot of times it struggles to durably get through. You can even look at gold, right? Look at what gold did after it made new all-time highs, right? It had an all-time high in 2011, and then it finally broke the all-time high, but then it came back down. And yeah, eventually it broke out. But the reality, though, is while it did break out, and on a crypto chart, this all would have taken place over just a few weeks or a few months, on the gold chart, the time frame from when the breakout occurred to when the real breakout occurred was 168 weeks. Think about that for a minute. You're talking about 3 years before gold continued higher. Now, I've mentioned several times that I expect commodities to rally into the end of the year. And so I do generally think gold and silver will go higher. But I think there's a lot of confluence here. What if silver rallying to an all-time high, potentially by the end of the year, is what then leads to that correction by gold? Because to me, it makes sense to see gold slow down a little bit in the midterm year. You can also see in 2022, the last midterm year, gold struggled for a little while, right? In 2018, you can see that gold struggled for a little bit. So why not see gold go higher into the end of the year, get a correction in 2026? But I'm not talking about a major one. I mean, if you look at 2018, it was 15% drop. If you look at 2022, it was a 20% drop or so. So we're talking about a reasonable correction after an incredible rally. And I think the timing of that correction might start around the time that silver hits all-time highs, which I think very well could happen before the end of this year. If you look at silver here, you can see we have a peak, sort of this first high in 2016, and then we had a second high in 2020. And you can see this was at $20 and then $30. Well, we're already at $40 now. But the next time we tag this trend line, assuming that you can see right here in, say, like December 2025, that could potentially put it right around that $50 mark. So for silver, what if this is the path? Sweep the high and then consolidate into 2026. Do something like this, right? And then eventually continue to break out. This would be in confluence with the general idea that gold will likely go through a correction in the midterm year. I will tell you, though, as I've said for a while, by the time gold gets a drop, there's a chance that the low that it forms is still higher than the current prices. Now, I don't know if that's how it's going to play out. It depends on what gold can accomplish between now and the end of the year. But I still do remain macro bullish on gold for several more years. I think you're going to have a pullback in 2026, but I think that's more so an opportunity to buy the dip rather than to, exit your position in hopes of a dip. I've been pretty bullish on gold for a while. I mean, I don't really know if I've ever even made a bearish video on gold since I started this channel. And the main reason is because I started this channel in 2019. And, you'd be hard pressed to find a reason to have been bearish on gold since 2019, right? I mean, it's mostly just gone up and to the right. So I would say don't forget the past. Like when gold rallies, it can go on, for really long periods of time, right? It can go on for really long periods of time. And so I will remain bullish on gold through the end of the year. I'll probably call for a brief correction in 2026 before then assuming it ultimately goes higher. So watch for silver to sweep the high potentially by the end of the year. That could lead up to a nice consolidation correction phase in 2026, followed by an eventual breakout to new all-time highs. But again, that if gold is any indication, that could be a multi-year process just to have enough momentum to continue to break higher. But it does show that the people that were patient here with the breakout were eventually rewarded. If you guys like the content, make sure you subscribe to the channel, give the video a thumbs up, and check out the sale on Into the Cryptoverse Premium at intothecryptoverse.com. See you guys next time.